rights. If I don't have any rights, he doesn't have any rights. He doesn't have any rights, and you don't have any rights.
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah, in other words, if everybody gets equal rights, you got equal rights to the rights I got. And that's to sit down and keep your mouth shut or get your jaw broke. Is that the rights you want?
Hey everybody, this is Jay Blackfoot with RedDawnPost.com. Today I got a story for you out of Syria again. The Syrian thing is way out of hand, and someone had mentioned to me in a private message, oh, by the way, it's June 19th, 2013, sorry. Someone had mentioned to me in a private message that I made a lot of good points about Syria, how we don't need to do it. Borders were created by the people who are instigating these wars, and I'll get into that in a little bit more, but they also mentioned the worst part for them was the lives, the people dying. And I did mention the 90,000 people that had died, and they're not as important as the 100 that were supposedly gassed by sarin gas, which I still haven't seen any evidence of yet. It's just an excuse to move troops over. They don't ask us. They didn't ask for a vote. They don't ask our opinion. They just do it. They're just going to have a military exercise no matter what you think. They don't care what you think, and they make up an excuse and go, just like WMDs, weapons of mass destruction. They tried to do a little convincing there, and they convinced a lot of people. And then, in hindsight, there were no weapons of mass destruction. But anyway, yes, the worst part of all of this is the children. The poor little innocent children that their innocence is snatched from them. They don't have a childhood. There's many children out there that don't have a childhood over there or here in the United States. They don't have a childhood. They don't get rights. They get stuck in boys' homes and beat the hell out of and other things. But that's not stuff we're told every day in the news. You know, we're creating crime. We're arresting people for stupid things. Like putting something in their body that they want to, that grows from the earth. And last time I checked, nature was more perfect than man. So yeah, the children and the lives and the families being blown apart, literally, because of this nonsense is definitely the number one reason why this shouldn't be taking place. But it's ritual sacrifice. That's what these leaders do. They don't care. They're not going in to fight. They're sending their people in to fight. So whenever someone talks about a country, like I'm going to get into here, they're talking about the people of that country. They say, well, the United States is a bunch of, arrogant, lazy assholes, which they are, but what's going on overseas and the stuff we're doing over there isn't us. It's our leaders. We are lazy and a lot of people are arrogant over here, but a lot of us do not like what's going on, and we do not want them going into Syria. We don't want them touching Syria. Leave Syria alone. Quit funding people. And now I guess a general that is part of who we're funding has just nibbled on a heart, supposedly. I say supposedly because I don't know if this video is real or not. You never know what's real in the media. They throw so much fake stuff at you. You don't know what's real or what's fake. And I'll show you that in a minute. But here's what's going on in Syria now. So yeah, it's the children, man. I mean, this place is not supposed to be like this. Something has interfered and set up their system here. And a lot of them, it boils down to, if you break it down and boil it down, it breaks down to a certain amount of families. A lot of them are royalty. And if you research royalty, they're only intermarry with certain other families. And they have a lot of children you don't hear about deformed. And a lot of them have a thing called, they have a problem or whatever where their blood is blue. And then I think that's where blue blood comes from. The blue bloods, they're the blue bloods royalty. Then you have the Vatican that is involved, and behind the Pope you have a secret Pope or a black Pope, the Pontifex Maximus, I think it is, and the Jesuits behind that. And a lot of these leaders go to Jesuit colleges. And a lot of these leaders, like Tony Blair, convert to Catholicism. And all these leaders, like Putin now, is saying, how could you fund someone like this? Which I don't really think this is real. But he's part of it too. He's just playing good cop, bad cop is what they're playing. Professional wrestling is what they're playing. They play this theater and then and brainwash us to believe we have an enemy. They brainwash them to believe they have an enemy, and they do things in our name to make us look bad, and they do things in their name to make them look bad, and then they brainwash everybody with religion, whether it's Muslim or Christianity, because there's Christian extremists and there's Muslim extremists, or they brainwash people with religion, when there's only one intelligence on this earth that we're all connected to. We're the only reason we're a little bit different is because pigment of our skin, because of where we were adjacent to the sun, and our ancestors were adjacent to the sun in evolution, which evolution exists within a species. Like, we will evolve to fight off certain things, or an animal might evolve, like there's a fish that lives so deep in the sea, has a light on the top of his head. Okay, there's an intelligence there. There's an evolution there. It evolved that to survive. So here's Glenn Beck on this Syrian, the new Syrian news that came out with the soldier nibbling out on a heart, eating a heart. They call it eating. See, and all he does is put it in his mouth and nibble it, which is still some kind of nasty and some kind of just sick. But who's funding him? And, like Putin don't know this guy. Come on. They all know what's going on. So check this out.
Mark it when we get up here, Tiffany, and we're going to clip this, and I want you to share just this part with your friends. I'm going to make it very, very short. And here's what I want you to send to your friends. America, I am a imperfect messenger for this. You can call me what you want. You can say I hate the president or whatever. It doesn't matter. I just want you to listen here for just a few minutes, and I'm going to show you some videotape. And I'm going to tell you about the big bad Republicans here. The Republicans, as well as the Democrats, are dragging us into another war. Your government is using your name, and they are sucking you into the Middle East again. And only 15% of Americans think that's a good idea. 11% think we should send arms to the Syrians. But those numbers don't come with any information. Those numbers will be much, much lower if you show this to your friend. I want to warn you, what I'm going to show you is extremely graphic, but please send this along. A friend sent this to you. Please send it to another friend. This is a very graphic video of Commander Abu Sakar. He is in this video. He has just killed a Syrian military member. This is a rebel that is now cutting the chest open of that Syrian. He takes out his liver and his heart. And to show you what's going to happen to all of his enemies, the commander eats it. The dead soldier on the ground.
Okay, so I'll leave the link in the description area so you can watch the whole thing if you want. I don't think it's real. If he was just killed, wouldn't there be blood pouring everywhere from doing that? Wouldn't his hands be a little more bloody than that? Wouldn't it be coming off of the heart? The video's really poorly done. I haven't seen anybody examine the video. I haven't examined it that closely, but just from what I see firsthand right now, and as much fake stuff as I believe goes on in the media, I don't get this, and I don't know what this guy Glenn Beck's angle is and all this, but I'm sure he's there to work on a certain angle of this and get our minds thinking a certain way. But all this border stuff was set up. Borders and countries were set up by, I don't know what you want to call them, the Illuminati, the elite, the wealthiest of wealthy of kings, queens, crowns, and priests, the crown and the cross, you know. And now I've brought up this guy before, and he's one who says everything's an act, everything's a hoax, everything is set up. I don't know if it's that far. I think there are some actors used. I think there's some actors involved. I don't think it's all like 100% hoax. He does. I don't know, but a lot of his stuff does look legit. Then again, a lot of his stuff doesn't quite seem look legit to me, but that could just be me missing something. I guess they use prosthetics, lighting, camera lenses. Prosthetics are what you could put. You can add a portion to the nose. You can add portions to the ear. And what he does is he does do ear comparisons, and some of his ear comparisons don't quite look right, but he hits the mark on a lot of them too. So I take what looks right and discard the rest that I don't think is so. And here he's got a girl that was a witness at the Batman movie shooting, that was also a witness at the Boston bombing. This is Dallas Goldbug. It's wellaware1.com if you want to check it out. I know what some of you might think of him or whatever. I take the good and discard the rest. I don't talk about people. I don't chase. I don't try to be the truth or police. You know, I just take what looks legit and then I discard the rest. You know, and whatever he's doing, if he's trying to mislead people or whatever, you know, are we ever gonna untangle this web and find out the truth about everything? It's like this here, David Brenner and Richard C. Bloom. Now, he's not saying all of them are the same person all the time, although this one does look like the same person, but he's also saying that they're related, and a lot of them are Greenbergs. So that's why I'm wondering if that video is fake. Now, I haven't seen if Ed has done anything on that, but he did do one since I had Glenn Beck up. He did do one on Glenn Beck, this Pete Williams for CNN, and I have this video ready to go up here so you can compare the tone and everything. So listen to Glenn Beck real quick.
Is the enemy of the guy we are now arming. This president and the Republicans, it's the Democrats and the Republicans, the progressives, trust this demented terrorist with weapons.
Okay, now listen to this guy. He's claiming is also Glenn Beck. He could have a different hairstyle, squints his eyes, wears different glasses, maybe with a bigger lens, and he could pass. And when you listen to him, he sounds a lot like him too. And now these guys are also actors. They probably go to acting school. And have you ever seen actors act a character really well, and then you see him in person? You know, I mean, I can see how it's very, very possible, and I believe it has taken place. I just don't know on what scale. And if you notice here, look at the little hidden in plain sight symbolism they put in the backgrounds, which your subconscious picks up. Your subconscious picks up everything within a millisecond. I mean, things that I'm not even seeing here. You know, people, gods and goddesses, or whoever this is here, sitting on a throne with a cross, and that, you know. But anyway, listen.
Come to, Pete. Well, Chris, this is a Prop 200 from Arizona, which established that anybody who wants to vote in a federal election in Arizona has to bring proof of citizenship in order to vote. Now, that's in conflict with the federal motor voter law, which has a form you can register by mail, and all you do is check a box that says, yes, I'm a...
Yet the same people want to take guns out of your hands because they don't trust you, but I digress. This is such a warning sign that we are on the wrong side, that even Vladimir Putin sounds sane compared to the progressive Republicans and
U.S. citizen. Arizona imposed an additional requirement and said if you're a naturalized...
So I'll leave that link in there too, and you can compare those for yourself. And that's all they do. And now they got also Lil Wayne. He supposedly wiped his feet on a flag, and they say people died protecting that flag. Well, they died to protect the right of what he's doing too, for his right to do that. You can dislike it all day long, but they protected his right to do that as well. And it's all divide and conquer, divide and conquer. That's what they do. And then they get you stuck in the catch-22 with this pride thing. Well, if you say, well, America and borders and Canada and Iran, and it's all just it's all just been set up to divide us. And America was set up through some shenanigans. If you read F. Tupper Saucy's book, Rulers of Evil, Useful Knowledge of Governing Bodies. I'll leave a link in the description area for that book as well. I mean, that's probably the best book out there as far as information. It's so jam-packed and detailed. You wouldn't believe it. The guy who wrote the book was on the run for, I don't know, it wasn't he found a law that says you don't have to pay your taxes, which there is no law in the book saying you have to pay taxes. It's illegal as hell, and that's a whole nother story. But he wrote the book, and it's a really good book. It's called Rulers of Evil, Useful Knowledge about Governing Bodies. So I'm not sure if this whole heart-eating incident was fake or not, but they do that, and they put stories out there. Not to say what the U.S. is doing is right. They shouldn't be funding rebels. They shouldn't be funding Al-Qaeda, who they call our enemy at one foot, and then fund them on the other hand. You know, Libya didn't have a central bank. It had the gold dinar. A lot of these places don't have a central bank, but at the same time, these leaders are playing the game too. Even if they're like our enemies, we're made to believe that. And then they pit the people against the people in fighting, yet they sit up there on their golden carriages and then on their thrones and say this and that. Well, why don't they jump their ass in the battle if that's so? We need to quit complying with these systems, any governmental system or religious system. You know, their symbol, one of the symbols used is a cross and a crown for a reason. Monarchy and religion is what control this whole world, or whatever you want to call it. Leadership, whatever. I don't care if it's Putin, Ahmadinejad, or whatever his name is, or what it is. It's all to pit us against each other. You notice they don't get a scratch. So they're dividing us as human beings, making us think we're different just because of where we come from and how we evolved to the sun. And these people also have a whole different worship than us, and I don't know why they never told us about it or taught us it. I mean, think about it. They are into numerology, Kabbalah. You know, they talked about Hillary Clinton having an astrologer. Oh, and even Ronald Reagan's wife having an astrologer in the White House. And that's what the pharaohs of old used to have. They used to have a very intelligent astrologer or whatever, and they even had the Egyptian mystery schools, and that's what they still adhere to today, which is a very good and very beautiful science, but they keep it hidden from us. They teach us religion, and then they study what's essentially magic through astrology and the energies of the planets that are spinning and creating energy. And then they're telling us they're just rocks and planting things in our head like third rock from the sun. You know, that's a little subliminal implantation. This isn't a rock. It's an entity. It's a living entity giving you life. And we're killing it, by the way. We need to stop and quit complying with the system. But as long as people are materialistic, need to do things, have to put on a show, and everybody's egos are overinflated from sports competitions and everything else, we're not going to get there. A lot of people can't picture growing their own food and just getting off of this system, living simple, helping each other out. You know, instead of going to corporations, get a friend to do it who needs the extra money. Or whatever. We need to start getting nonviolent noncompliance. I'm not buying this for a minute. Stay out of Syria. Quit funding Syria. rebels with money that we don't have because we're we're in QE 2000 something or whatever, and bail out 4050 and QE Affinity. So it's just ridiculous. We need to just stop playing this game. You know, there's a reason why one of their symbols is a checkerboard, or the black and white checkerboard, because this is all a game, and it's all psychological. A lot to do with their magic and the high science they study. Is a lot of it to psychology with all their symbols and statues and stuff. So that's it for now. We need to speak out against this, expose everything that's wrong with this, and they're trying to start some big catastrophic thing is what they're trying to do. And then they're going to say, well, they need more money or whatever. But anyway, check out my blog, reddawnpost.com. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, take care.